How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Rudolph's Shiny New Year. This is from 1976 and was produced and directed by Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass. So yes, another Rankin and Bass holiday special. They produced the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and this is the very first sequel to that one. Really cool to see an iconic character back, and putting him on another holiday that's relatively close to Christmas, it makes sense, and it's kind of sad that this wasn't more popular, because I think it would have been cool to have a double feature with Rudolph. But anyway, this movie stars Billie Mae Richards, Frank Gorshin, and Red Skelton. I do love that these Rankin and Bass shorts have a rotating cast of hosts, usually pretty fun celebrities, and Red Skelton gets to play Father Time in this one. That's really cool. But anyway, as I said before, I recently got to pick up this Rankin and Bass Complete Christmas Collection, and yeah, this is technically a New Year's movie, but I really am glad they put it on here. And yeah, there are 18 things on here, and in turn, a lot of them are kind of obscure, and I really do like that. And maybe it's not for everybody, but for me, I always like finding the weird and rare and obscure movies, and I really do also like when movies get a little weird and a little off the rails. And this movie definitely does. It is super strange to see Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, this character that we know and love and have seen all of our lives, you know, every single Christmas, and to see him going on this new and different and strange and bizarre adventure, it is kind of surreal. There are times in this movie where I ask myself, what the heck am I watching? And times where it did kind of feel like a film cow sketch or something. But yeah, this is really bizarre. Trees sing the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer song. Rudolph gets swallowed by a big fish like he was Jonah. And oh yeah, Rudolph travels through time. Rudolph travels through time and meets dinosaurs in this. That's crazy, and I do love that bonkers, off-the-walls insanity, so this is kind of fun, even though I can acknowledge it's definitely not the classic that the others were. I mean, like, look at Rankin and Bass. They're known for their songs. The Happy New Year song, Rudolph's Believe in Me song, there's some okay songs in here, but there's nothing close to Put One Foot in Front of the Other. And actually, some of the songs are kind of dreary, talking about how time keeps moving on and it's precious and cherish it while you have it. Getting a little deep for a kid's special, but whatever. But the biggest thing is the missing characters. You're going on an adventure to save time. You're telling me Yukon Cornelius doesn't want to tag along? Yukon and Hermes being missing are sorely noted in here, and I think that more people would have paid more attention to the special if we got the whole gang back together, because it is kind of odd that Santa just kicks Rudolph out by himself. Father Time's supposed to be this old friend of his, and he's like, yeah, just send Rudolph out to figure it out by himself. Into the cold and dark you go. So yeah, that could have been a little better, but whatever. It's not great, it's far from perfect, and I can see why it's forgotten and not as memorable. But at the same time, seeing a familiar character in such a bizarre setting, it's something that I'm gonna go, wow, this is strange, I gotta watch it, you know? So it may not be for everybody, but for people like me, you gotta see Rudolph meeting the dinosaurs, right? Anyway, let's talk a bit about the plot in order to analyze it further. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but I do want to take a moment and analyze a few things. We open up with Santa getting a message from his old friend Father Time. I do like the implication that all the holiday characters know each other, and I wish this was expanded upon further. Also, Santa looks bigger in this one, much more like he did at the end of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and I get he has to fit in with the other puppets, and the other puppets are more modern Rankin and Bass puppets. But that being said, I wish he looked like he did in the last special. Whatever, though. Anyway, Santa sees the message It's dark and stormy. Rudolph is the only one that can go, apparently. And he sends Rudolph out. There is an emissary from Father Time's castle to guide him, and they take him to see Father Time, and it's a really cool castle set. The big rotating electronic board across the top of a fairy tale castle. The castle is located in the sands of time. You go in there and all the servants have like clocks in them. There's clocks and calendars scattered about, and even Father Time's throne has places for cuckoo birds to pop out. That's pretty cool. And Father Time himself is an interesting character. He is an old man with a scythe now, but he says that he's kind of like a Doctor Who, where he rotates and changes. So every New Year's Eve, the old Father Time retires, and New Year's Day, the new Father Time steps in, and the new Father Time will be a baby that grows into the old man every single year. That's really interesting. Now, what happens here is the new baby New Year, Happy, and by the way, one of my gripes with this special is they keep saying his full name, Happy the Baby New Year, over and over and over again. It gets a little long-winded. But anyway, he's run off because he has big ears, and people laugh at him for that, so he's run away. And I do like that Rudolph sees the parallel, and he's like, I wish I could have talked to him. I would have helped him through it, and it will lead to a heart-to-heart moment later, and I really do like how it ties in. And I also like that it talks about a sort of different aspect of bullying, because no one really means to bully a little baby. He's just silly, and you can't help but laugh, and I do like how this time around it was unintentional. It gives it a little bit of a difference. But anyway, if they don't get Happy the Baby New Year back before midnight on New Year's Eve, time's going to freeze. That's a pretty big stake there. Wow, I would love to see what that looks like. But anyway, Rudolph isn't the only one looking for Happy. The villain of this film is a giant vulture named Eon because he's lived for an eon, and he'll die if he doesn't stop time by kidnapping the baby, because he only lives for an eon and his time's up, and he's going to turn into ice. You know, I said this when I reviewed Leprechaun's Christmas Gold. When a villain is simply trying to just live, you know, I don't really see them as too bad of a character because they're just trying to stay alive. They do have a little twist on this at the end, and at least they address it that way. But anyway, he's trying to kidnap him, not eat him. When I first saw the beginning of the special, I'm like, are they gonna have him try to eat the baby? But no, just kidnap. But Rudolph and Eon are both after this baby. Where does he go? To this archipelago where the old Father Times retire. Basically, an archipelago is a bunch of islands, and each island is a different year through time, and when a Father Time retires there, he embodies that year on that island. I like that it's an interesting non-linear way to perceive time, and it is a fun little setting. Clive Barker would make the Aberrat books, which would feature an archipelago where each island was a different hour of the day. I kind of wonder if Clive Barker was inspired by this. But anyway, going to the different islands, Rudolph can go to the different years. He's sailing there on a big whale because the special is off the walls crazy. And the first one he goes to is 1 million BC, where he meets the caveman version of Father Time and does a little song with the dinosaurs. There's 1 million at least of these islands. Well, 1 million, almost 2,000. Yeah, no, okay, this is going to be a while to search. Another flaw with this special is Rudolph definitely could have gone way faster. He's kind of walking along, taking in the journey and going, oh no, we're almost out of time. And I'm like, Rudolph, you can fly around the world in one night. You can search these islands much faster. And oh, how am I to get to the top of this mountain? Rudolph, you can fly. that was a little frustrating. But anyway, Happy's been bouncing from island to island because his ears will get revealed. He has a hat, a big top hat, which is a fun character design, but it will keep falling off, or we'll have to take it off and everyone will see his big ears and laugh at him. And it does get a little secular, you know, this kind of keeps happening over and over again. But it's an excuse to chase him from island to island, and we get a bunch of crazy different years. For example, 1023, Father Time is a knight here, and apparently in the year 1023 was when all the fairy tales happened for real. So you're going to get, you know, the Three Bears. You're going to get Rankin and Bass's Cinderella. That's pretty crazy. It is totally just a random anthology bit like, hey, what if we did fairy tales? But I can't help but appreciate how random and off the walls it is. It does lead to a pretty fun finale with a good bit of scale, and I do like it, but it is hard not to acknowledge that this is just a bunch of random adventures leading to the end. But I do like that the ending at least does get pretty big. So yeah, Rudolph Shiny New Year, definitely not a classic or anything, but a good bit of obscure and bizarre media for those of us that's what we crave. And I think it's worth watching at least once, just so you can tell people, I saw Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer travel through time and sing with the dinosaurs, because yeah, I really can't help but appreciate something like that. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Rankin Bass playlist where you can see me talk about a few other specials in there as well. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.